Hi everyone, trust you all are doing well. So what we're going to do in this one is we're going to create a profile model with its migration. As I discussed in the previous one, I'm not going to include the fields inside the user table for those that might be new and only see this video. I just wanted to explain why I'm doing it. In the previous one, you could add the bio field inside your user model and with its social media, but I decided to create a separate table where our user and our profile have a one-to-one relationship. A user has one profile and the profile belongs basically to a user. All right, so that's basically what we want to do. And we're going to add a bio field and a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and a LinkedIn basically field inside our database. Okay, so let's quickly go to our code editor and actually create it. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is obviously open up our terminal. So we're just going to do PHP artisan make model, and we're going to make a profile model and a -m flag for the migrations, and that's it. All right, so obviously that is created. So if we go to app models, you will see we have a profile model right here. Okay, so what we're going to do in this one, we're just going to do a protected table, and that's going to equal to self table. All right, so we haven't created that yet. So let's quickly create a constant. It's going to be table. Spell it correctly. I'm going to set that basically to the profiles tab. Right, and then we're going to have a protected fillable fields. Okay, as I explained in the previous one, and for those that might be new, you can either have a protected fillable, and you can set it to whatever field you want to be mass assigned, or you can do a protected guarded and set it to an empty array. Okay, now what this does is it doesn't do protection for mass assignment. Now, when you actually handle the data from any form that you get from the database, you have to make sure that you validate them and make sure it's only the things that you need to be stored in the database. Okay, but for me, I'm going to do protected fillable. Right, so the first field that we're going to need in our database, in this case, we're going to need the bio. All right, so just a description about the author. The other one, this is going to be Facebook. Okay, we're going to add Facebook, and then we're going to add what is it? Twitter, Instagram, last one, LinkedIn. I think that's correct spelling. Right, so that is, I just wanted to make sure that that is the correct spelling. The next one is we're just going to create public function, and this one is going to basically bio. Okay, the method, and this is going to be a string. And we're just going to return this file. Okay, I'm going to do this with all of them. Let me just add 4. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the last one. So let me quickly change this. This is going to be Facebook. Twitter. Right, so you obviously don't have to do this. You can refer to the property itself. Okay, so when you're just going to see me referencing the method, you must just know it just returns the property. You can actually just reference the property. It doesn't matter. Okay, so let me just save this. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up the migrations file. So database migrations. Let's go there. We've got our profiles right here. So there's a couple of fields that we obviously need. The first one is a table for string. And this is going to be the bio. 255 characters, I don't think it's enough, so let's just make it a text field. Okay. And the other one, the other table that we're going to need is just a string. And this is going to be for the Facebook. other one is a table. This one is going to be also, let me just copy them down. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is Instagram. Twitter. Just want to kind of keep the order. Twitter, Instagram, and the last one is LinkedIn. All right, now these fields can be nullable because not everyone is registered to the relevant social medias, to Facebook, Twitter, whatever the case might be, and we just want to make them nullable. All right, so if the person doesn't have any social media, we can actually do this as well. So I'm just going to do the by as well, not to be a required field. It can be nullable. Now the next part is because we're going to have a one-to-one relationship between the profile and the user, we just need to add the foreign ID field in here as well. So just do that, foreign ID. And this is basically going to be the user ID because the user will basically be the parent of the profile. All right. So in the profile is basically going to be the child of the user. Okay. And then we're just going to constrain that to the users table. And if the user do delete their profile, we're just going to do on delete. And we're just going to say cascade like this. Okay, so that's basically what we're going to do in this one. Right, so now that's all set up. Now we just need to set up the relationship between the profile and the user. Okay, we just need to set up this relationship right here. Right, so if we go to the profile, we're just going to add the relationship just above, or we can add it to the bottom. Let's just do it at the bottom. We're just going to add a public function, right? And this is going to be the user. And this is going to be a belongs to relationship because the user is the parent. I'm just going to, and then we're just going to return this belongs to the user class. Import this. All right, the import class. All right, now the thing is, if you, let's say in this case, the profile. All right, let's say in our database, we don't, let me open up my database again, migrations, right here. If you're going to use another field except the user ID, let's say you said author or whatever case ID, if you mention something different here, okay, Laravel will expect here to basically be user ID. Okay, so I don't have to explicitly put it in there, but Laravel expects it to be there. Okay, so if you have something else, please name it there accordingly. Okay, so in this case, we've got our user right there. Okay, so next thing that we want to do is we need to do the inverse basically in our user model. And so if we go to our user model right here, so we're at the bottom, and we're just going to add the relationship. We're going to do a public function, and this is basically just going to be a profile. Okay, okay, because the user has one. Okay, so the user has one profile, and we're just going to return this as one. Just going to add the profile model class like this. Okay, so now we're all set up. I'm just going to make sure I import this. Right, so now we got our profile all set up. Okay, so the next thing is obviously to migrate the database, but there's a whole lot of other models like the plan and all that kind of stuff that we still have to do. So what we're going to do in the next one, we're going to set up our user policy to be able to determine what the writers can do, what the moderators can do, what the admins can do, and what the normal users can do. Right, so that will be the next one where we're going to set up that policy. All right, so that's it for this one, guys. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you don't, please give it a dislike. If you have any questions, feedback, suggestions, please leave it for me in the comment section. And thank you very much. Adios.